This is Football Night in America, built by Lowe's.
Welcome to the Football Night in America podcast presented by Lowe's. It's our last time being here in the studio, but we're happy to be with you yet again. A wild
Ever?
weekend. Yeah, actually, I don't know anymore. I would love to promise you another show, but I'm not 100% sure. I want to run through the headlines of the games that we've already seen. All of them coming down to the last second, the last plays. And let's start with the Rams and the Panthers. And really, the Panthers testing the Rams on the road again. And what do you think is the biggest takeaway, the headline from that matchup?
I mean, first off, credit to the Panthers for hanging in there. They were 10-point underdogs. No one gave them a chance, and they were winning with 2 minutes to go in the game, right? So credit to the Carolina Panthers, who I thought showed up. Breakout game for Jalen Coker here, but like the Rams are just more experienced, right? Matthew Stafford is having an MVP level game, coach, MVP level year. We'll see if he wins the award, but he's playing at an incredibly high level, and so I just thought that they were just too dominant down the stretch. Like that touchdown pass to Colby Parkinson, like that's a throw that very few quarterbacks in the NFL can make. Parkinson comes down with it, they win the game.
Matthew Stafford really is special, and look, there are occasions where it is wise for a player who is injured to not play for a variety of reasons. He will never not play if he's injured. And that finger got twisted back in an unnatural way, and he kept going, and he downplayed it after the game. And I go all the way back to the very first Sunday I was ever at NBC. It was November of 2009. He was playing in his rookie year for the Lions against the Browns.
Right.
I know, which is why I say it may be last time ever, at least for me. But he had a shoulder injury on a play that extended the game by 1 down, and they had a 1st and goal on a pass interference, and they were trying to keep him out, and he was like, the hell with it, I'm going back in. He throws the pass, and it immediately falls over, but he will, like they could cut the finger off and he'll play next week. It's just amazing how tough he is and the way he leads. And he's one of a kind, and it's great to see him finally getting widespread recognition after all these years. I mean, he won a Super Bowl, but he was never the regular season king, and he kind of proved yesterday why he is.
The Rams open up playoff football with what playoff football is all about. Yes, credit to the Panthers. They played hard, but playoff football is about win or go home. It's not about, hey, we were supposed to lose by 10. Like, each team, when you make the playoffs, you've earned the right to be there, and you go into the game, we're going to win the game. And the Rams won because their guy at the end gets the ball in his hands, and he said, this is what I do. And I remember in New England, guys would make plays, and I would always go to Matthew Slater if I got an interception. This is what I do. And you get this excitement. And Devontae Adams talked about it. We were talking about there. He was like, man, this guy, it was gangster. He's talking about going down there and winning a game. And again, it's a trend. We saw it all weekend, a team up with 2 minutes to go, which everybody talks about where you want to be in position. Sure. Hey, we're up with 2 minutes. Now we just got to get a stop. A lot of teams didn't get stops this weekend, and, I mean, credit to Matthew Stafford and the Rams team.
Yeah, think about how that game went. He started 8 for 8, and then he went on this streak where he completed 2 out of, 15 passes. And so I don't care how many games you've played, how experienced you are as a quarterback. Yeah. We hear these guys. Josh Allen was saying it after the game, shoot or shoot. You keep shooting. And for a guy like Stafford, he didn't even blink. The blood pressure was low. He got him back into position. And once they got in position, he was going to go get after their ass. And that's certainly what he did. And the finger, okay, it's one thing to say, I'm going to fight through the finger. It's another thing to fight through the finger and throw laser beams all over the place. And that's what he did. And, it's hard for me to think he's not the MVP of the league. 46 touchdowns during the regular season and constantly coming up in the big moments like that. Love the guy.
What about the Packers and the Bears? We knew this one was going to probably end up being a close one, but it seemed like the Bears sleepwalked through the first half of this game, battled back from an 18-point deficit to get the victory. What's your biggest takeaway from
My takeaway on the Bears is the job that Ben Johnson has done there. And, fantastic offensive coordinator, we know that. But to go there and be a head coach of a football team and instill an identity in the entire team. And all you have to do is go back and see how they played in the fourth quarter. It's record-breaking stuff, the number of times they've come back in the fourth quarter to win. And I love what he said in the locker room afterwards. We're down 21-3 against these guys after losing 2 games coming in to the playoffs. And, they didn't blink. You know, they said, okay, we got 30 minutes to go here, and we're going to make the plays. And they didn't start making the plays until late in the fourth quarter. These fourth downs, and I do think it's an attitude you have when you have some success in those games. You can reflect back individually and collectively as a team is, we've been here before. We know how to handle these situations, and that's what he's built there, and that's really, really hard to do.
See, and that's why I'm not a fan of playoff experience and everybody talking about it, because you just said it. It's what you build. First-year head coach, second-year quarterback, first playoff game, you're down 21-3. Playoff experience tells us you're done. You're playing against the Packers. Jordan Love has won a playoff game before. He's won it on the road, and like, all of these factors say you're going to lose. No, that doesn't matter. What you build throughout the regular season, if those guys go in and you can rely on each other, you can make a play here, make a play. Next thing you know, you get rolling. You don't care you don't have experience. You just say, hey, this is our year. This is what we believe. We're going to go win this game. And that's what Caleb Williams did. And now we look at him as, man, this guy shows up in the postseason. No doubt. It doesn't matter until he does it next week. So it's what I love most about playoff football. New stars are born, and that's what it's about.
There are so many great stories that just cascade from these games that we've seen over the past few days. The best one that I heard was Ben Johnson after the game saying that when he had the team together in training camp, he showed them Super Bowl 51, 28-3, Patriots down.
Talk about it.
And he has two players on the team who were in that game, Grady Jarrett for the Falcons, Joe Thuney for the Patriots. And he showed it to them, and he convinced them, you're never out of it. It's never over. And that is part of the spirit that they've taken on, and it becomes, you know, every team nowadays in the NFL is a 1 year and 1 year only experiment. And when it's over, it's over. It's never going to be the same. There's going to be many changes. So you start building in training camp and you carry it all the way through. And look, they got 21-3. You know, they have an experience now that somebody else is going to show their team and say, here's why you never give up.
Do you remember that game?
I don't. I blacked out.
Sorry.
Right. Thank you for bringing it up for it.
But you're right, Mike. You talk about that culture that Ben Johnson built, right? That was their 7th fourth quarter comeback this season, right? And that was a game, again, against their playoff rival, a team that has beaten them before, beaten them in big moments. The Packers sort of had their number for a long time. And there's like 3 different fumbles that they didn't recover. Like, it just felt like, you know, they started slow and just the ball wasn't bouncing their way. And it just felt for the longest time like it's just not their night. No, you know, they'd go down there and they'd have a red zone interception or turnover. You're just like, just these back-breaking moments. But they just kept hanging in there, kept hanging in there. And credit to Ben Johnson for making adjustments where it didn't seem like Matt LaFleur did. I don't know what happened, but the Bears outscored Green Bay 25-6 in the fourth quarter. It just seemed like they were, whatever defensive adjustments the Bears made, the Packers weren't able to adjust on there. We talk about details, Coach. Green Bay, in a 4-point game that the Bears won, Green Bay missed 2 field goals and an extra point. Right? I mean, like, you know, just every single play matters. Every single person on a team matters. Credit to the Bears, heartbreaking loss for Green Bay.
I think the big takeaway for me with Caleb, though, is, you know, he's kind of one of these guys when they're down 21-3, and we can just say, okay, now I can just go play. We start seeing his greatness. It's less about, hey, I'm going to go through the read exactly like the coach tells me. I mean, he's running left, jumping in the air, throwing it over guys.
That
we
throw,
saw the magic.
I'm just going to make it happen now.
Yeah.
That throw
He just starts hooping. He like turned into Steph Curry out of nowhere, just can't miss in a zone. We talked about Stafford playing through injuries, but we also saw it with Josh Allen. I mean, he came in with a foot injury. We saw him bang up his knee. His ear was bleeding at one point, got looked at for a concussion. Still completes the game against the Jags. It comes down to him. He puts the cape on. James Cook's bottled up. What is the headline we're going to take away from that Bills win, and can they sustain?
Well, and I think for me the big thing is that Josh Allen seems to be keenly aware of the pressure he's under. I love studying quarterback demeanor during a game. How do they deal with adversity? Are they giving up? Are they sticking with it? He just seems to just be very concerned and anxious, and he realizes if they would have lost today, it's on him. It's an opportunity to run through the playoff field without Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. The table is set, and you lost on the road in the wild card against, you know, a team that some people would say you're better than, even though I think the Jaguars were the better team. He felt that weight, and he's going to continue to feel that weight. He's going to continue to feel it until they get to the Super Bowl, and we'll see how far he can carry them, but he seems to be determined to do it.
I actually respectfully disagree with you. I think he recognizes the weight, but I didn't see anxiety on his face. I saw like this freaking killer on his face right from the start. And, he understands where he is, and I agree with everything, the urgency of the situation, but I love the look on his face right from the start. And he just seems so laser focused. And then at the end of the game, when, if you don't make those plays at the end of the game, you're going home. Yep. You're going home. And he gets the free rusher in his face, and it's like, and he cuts the thing loose. So I thought it brought the best out in him. I think he recognizes the weight, but I love the look that he had and certainly the plays he made at the end of the game.
And I thought what stuck out in that game was all we're going to look at is these two guys, right? It was coming in. It was Josh Allen having to do everything, and it was Trevor Lawrence with Liam Cohen, and it's their best team. And when you actually watch the game, how we watch it, Trevor Lawrence had a few balls where we're like, that's not a great spot. And then we watched the Parker Washington post route. It's like, man, if he would have just let it out there. And then we're all going to talk about the last play of the game. Mm-hmm. You throw an interception where it's just like Josh made those plays, and that's what it comes down to. And again, there's no question of who Josh Allen is. When we get in these games, we know his greatness is going to show. It's, hey, are these other guys going to step up? They stepped up and made plays. But I think on the other side, give Trevor Lawrence a ton of credit, the way he's played this year. But he was short today. He didn't make the plays needed to go win. And the hardest thing as a player is you forget about everything in the regular season and you walk away with just that feeling of your season ending.
Yeah, I mean, listen, over the second half of the season, in the regular season, I don't know if there was a quarterback hotter than Trevor Lawrence. He was unbelievable down the stretch. But you're right, Devin. This was just a bad day at the office for Trevor Lawrence. You mentioned the 2 interceptions as well. I thought this was a bad day for Liam Cohen. The Jaguars on the ground, 14 carries between Travis Etienne and Bashal Tutin, 14 rush attempts for 118 yards. They were gashing on the ground, and why you don't stick with that, I don't understand, right? That's a weakness of the Bills' defense. You don't want Josh Allen on the field. Can you control the clock? And the biggest play was at the start of the first quarter, start of the game. They have the ball. They get the turnover, and it's 4th and 1. And Trevor Lawrence, all he has to do is stay upright and fall forward, and they probably score there, and they're up 14-3, right? But he stumbles, he falls down. They challenge the play. Bills ball, and then they go down and score. And that's a 14-point swing. Yeah,
right. No one kick field goal.
Right. I mean, I thought it was a bad day at the office for both Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen. It's a shame because they've had such a magical year. Both of them have, but just numbers that say exactly what you're saying here. QBR, which is stat that rates quarterback rating on a scale of 1 to 100. Josh Allen's QBR in this game was 87.3. Trevor Lawrence's was 30. I mean, and I think those are numbers that tell you what we saw, what we watched.
It's so funny, though, when you say that, still none of us actually knows what that means.
It's a metric that ESPN developed that takes a lot of factors into it. Stop it. No, I know the guy that authored it. He's a very smart guy.
That doesn't make it any better.
See, this is why they're not going to give us another podcast episode. They can see that we're falling apart at the seams. You can't bring us together again for another
Matthew. I understood it.
See, there you go. And that's good that you guys have made up.
JG's always coming with positive.
He's the glue.
The whole reason they came up with a number is for people like Florio to understand. Scale of 1 to 100, 87 better than 30. There you go.
I prefer the traditional passer rating. I can tell you a story about QBR and why I don't pay any attention to it off the air.
Oh, dang. Well,
fair enough. Whatever.
Well, maybe tweet about it later or X about it later.
I'm sure he will.
Let's get straight into the speed round. I'm not going to let y'all preview any games. Wild card losers. Let's talk about what they need in 2026. And let's start with the Panthers. You go first, Matthew.
More offense. I mean, they just don't have enough difference makers on offense. They basically tried to hide Bryce Young this year. Tedero McMillan is a great player. The nice game they got from Jalen Coker, but I just think they need more offense. There's a lot of pieces on defense, but they just need a couple more difference makers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they just need to get Bryce Young to the next level. He has done a great job of navigating the early career problems. He got benched, and then he came back. And, even though he's done well, you look at the wins and losses, they still have a long way to go to be consistently good. They just need more consistency. They had that win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They've shown they can play well. They just need to play well on a more consistent basis.
Yeah, and the thing that sticks out is when they did play well, it was usually late in the game. It's like, how do we take this energy and momentum and this team that we see when a game matters the most, how do we make that how we start games and play that way? So I don't know if that's a player or two if that's just an off-season, another off-season together. But this team has progressively gotten better under Canales, so you just want to see another year of it.
I say keep going. A couple of years ago, they were not very good. A lot of last year, not very good. And so they made great strides. And to beat the Rams a few weeks ago at their place and then to take them all the way down to the end of the game, we're talking about the Rams being among the best teams in the league. So they made great strides. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Just keep pounding. That's what they say in
That's
Carolina.
what they say.
There you go.
Absolutely.
What about the
Mills.
Packers, JG?
They need to get Micah Parsons back. They need a difference maker on defense, and I thought, getting him made a big difference for their team. I like their team. They got to find a way to be not quite so streaky. And, when that quarterback is on, Jordan Love is as good as anybody in the NFL. But the issue is, week in and week out, their team has been up and down. It's been inconsistent, and different parts of their team have let them down. Brandon McManus missing those kicks in the game, that was as impactful as anything. So they need more consistency if they want to take that next step.
Yeah, I think the things you just mentioned, right? Micah Parsons' health, but, hey, he's not going to probably start the season healthy.
Right.
How do we find another pass rusher?
Yeah.
And then for me, we got to get better on the outside. We have these pass rusher and Micah Parsons. If we can be good at the corner position, we can be dominant on defense. We can allow our coordinator, if Jeff Hafley is still there, his name's coming up a lot with these coaching searches, but it would allow him to be more aggressive in how he calls defense.
Linebacker Quay Walker said some things after the loss along the lines of these issues keep coming up over and over again. The kind of thing that if you're Matt LaFleur, the coach of the Packers, you don't want Ed Policy, the president of the team, to be reading before they make a final decision about the future, because these patterns keep repeating themselves. We saw what happened to John Harbaugh because of the pattern of blowing leads, repeating itself over and over again. And they've got a big decision to make. Ed Policy made it clear back in June, no new contract for Matt LaFleur until after the season, and now here we are after the disastrous finish, and they just have to figure out, whether it's with Matt LaFleur or somebody else, how to avoid these things that keep repeating themselves from continuing to happen.
Yeah, very quickly. I agree with health, not just Micah Parsons, but Tucker Kraft. Not having him, huge loss there. I think they need a new kicker. And, and then I also think they just need a new opponent. I know everyone in Green Bay is kind of freaking out in Wisconsin, but I'm just like, you guys were very close. You had to play a division opponent for the third time. It's impossible to play a guy in division. I think if they were playing a different team, if they had a better kicker, I think it's a different outcome. There's a tendency here to just blow it all up, but it's a very, very good team that was this close and had just a very, very tough loss. But that's still a very good football team.
No doubt.
What about the Jaguars, Florio?
Yeah, I just think that they need more out of Trevor Lawrence on a regular basis. We saw what he can do when he minimizes the mistakes, but that possibility of Trevor Lawrence making a big mistake is always there. And he had gotten away from it, and I thought that Liam Cohen had fixed it. And it's one of the reasons why Liam Cohen's being considered for Coach of the Year. But there it was today, whether it's falling down short of the sticks, the interceptions, there's always that sense that it's going to happen on any given play, and it ultimately derailed them when they had a chance to force overtime.
I think that just run it back. You're a good football team. You're a first-year head coach. We got in the playoffs together. And you said it, Barry. We got to weigh a little bit what we should have done in that game. I think they look back and say, we probably should have ran the ball more. Sure. It was working. And I think, hey, let's just do this again.
Yeah, think about where we were with these guys 12 months ago.
Yep.
That's right.
Right? Let's keep a little perspective on this stuff. What a remarkable year. I thought Trevor was fantastic for the large majority of the year. Liam Cohen's done a fantastic job there. The defense played well, all of that stuff. I do think, I always go back to this, you guys hear me use this word a lot, you need to spread the burden around. Over the course of a season, certainly when you get in the playoffs. So you said it, Matthew, they ran the ball well, they just didn't run it enough. And when you don't run it enough, the burden comes back on the guy throwing the ball. And I think we saw that. There's very few guys that can handle all of the burden over the course of a game against good teams in the playoffs. You got to attack different ways, and different people need to feel that burden. And, at the end of the game, Trevor made some big-time throws in this game. The touchdowns in the red zone, they were fantastic, but he just made the mistakes, and I think they were asking him to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one word I wrote down was experience.
Yeah.
To your point, this is a team that had a top 5 pick. And they traded up to get Travis Hunter. But think about next year when they get Travis Hunter back and they've had another, right? And so I think just experience, like I think if you had told Jaguars fans or even Liam Cohn, a year ago, by the way, I know you're picking, whatever, top 5 in the NFL, but you're going to win your division and you're going to be leading the Bills with 2 minutes to go. You'd have said, I'll sign up for that right now. It's obviously it's a disappointing loss, but that franchise has come a tremendous way, and I think the future's bright.
High bar next year, too. That's the downside of having a great first year. They're going to expect it next year.
Every year.
Washington, exactly.
And then what about the Eagles? Fans booing midway through the game. What are we going to do what do you want for them?
I want a new offensive coordinator for them, and I want a new wide receiver one. It just, for whatever reason, A.J. Brown, Nick Sirianni, just doesn't seem like player and coach are on the same page, and so it feels like a fresh start for both those guys makes sense. They're just too talented to struggle. There's no reason why Philadelphia should have lost that game, to be perfectly honest. But the offense just really struggled. 36 total yards in the third quarter for the Eagles. 36 total yards of offense. Jalen Hurts under 170 yards passing in this one. They got a couple of turnovers. They had 3 points off of turnovers. So they just weren't opportunistic, and I just think the issues with the Eagles were on the offensive side of the ball. The defense is great. They gave them a chance to win. But, when you think about San Francisco going into that game so beat up, they lose George Kittle early and Brock Purdy out there. And Brock Purdy's a really nice quarterback, but he's throwing to Kendrick Bourne, Juwan Jennings, and Demarcus Robinson. Not exactly Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua there. And so, the defense did their job. The offense just didn't help them out.
I don't know whether the Eagles can't or won't admit what their problems are and try to fix them. They're constantly trying to circle the wagons, and they know what's going to happen. They know the offense is going to disappear for half a game, and surprise, the offense disappeared for half the game. They need clearly to get a new offensive coordinator. They need to move on from A.J. Brown. He doesn't seem to want to be there, and it's only stubbornness that's keeping the two sides together now. And then they do have an issue with Jalen Hurts. What Derek Gunn, who's covered that team for years, comes out and says that the problem is the quarterback won't listen and the quarterback knows he has them over a contractual barrel. That's something that they just need to solve. They need to fix it. They need to clear the air, and they need to fix it if they're going to move forward the way they want to.
You just did a no-no in Maria's book. Sorry.
I just feel like he's had a different offensive coordinator every other season.
You're right.
So Jalen Hurts has never really been set up for success. So I don't accept Jalen Hurts slander until he's had some kind of consistency.
I'm just passing along. I'm just the messenger.
That's how I will always feel.
Well, but think about it this way.
It's hard to say he hasn't been set up for success. He's been in a couple of Super Bowls.
You're right. And then on top of that, everyone wants to come for him, and he just
don't forget about the Super Bowl.
And the MVP.
This is such a weird cycle. They have an offensive coordinator who takes him to a Super Bowl. He becomes a head coach. Then they hire a new offensive coordinator, and it doesn't work, and they fire him. Then they hire a new one, and they win a Super Bowl, and he's gone. And then they hire another one. It's like every other year. It's either fire or watch him be promoted.
But remember, it just goes back to college for him, too. It's just,
And that's the thing for me. I think the Eagles have to be careful of scapegoating. Hey, A.J. Brown was a problem. He's now gone. Kevin Patullo was a problem. They need to sit down and figure out what are the issues. Because I get it. Everybody has issues on a team. But our offense is bad in the second half. Whatever. Offensive coordinator. We can't figure out all year how to be just a little bit better in the second half. Not to have 0 completions, not to only score 6 points. That to me is a bigger problem than just our offensive coordinator or our quarterback or our star receiver. There's other things going on that your staff can't come together and say, hey, let's do these 2 things that help our team be better in the second half. That to me is they have to figure that out more than anything.
Yeah, I agree with all you guys on all those fronts. Earmuffs, they need earmuffs, not listen to the outside noise. They need blinders like horses wear, to stay locked in, because I feel like it gets to be a distracted team a lot. The reason they were dominant last year, to me, was they were dominant on the offense and defensive lines. One of the best offensive lines really ever assembled when they were healthy, and Saquon rushes for over 2,000 yards. And there was no semblance of that on their team this year. Defensive line was dominant when they were healthy, but the offensive line was not. And that's the offense that Jalen Hurts needs to function in. Jalen Hurts is not going to drop back like Matthew Stafford does and slice and dice defenses, from a drop-back passing game. He needs the runner. He needs the movement. He needs all those things. He's shown that he can play at a really high level. And he plays really, really well in big games. His best games are the Super Bowls. This guy is a really accomplished player, but I think he's accomplished in a certain environment. And some of the things that he brings, Matthew Stafford can't bring, right? And so you got to play into that, and you have to use that. I think using his feet, getting the offensive line dominant, getting that running game going again, I think that helps every part of their team. That's when they've played their best.
Okay. Don't leave us to go be the offensive coordinator of the Eagles, because it sounds like you got some great ideas. we need you for one more year. Don't report that.
Too late.
All right, that's all the time we have for today. Y'all really talked a lot. That was not a speed round at all, but I'll let y'all get it in. Next time we see you, we'll be on the road for Divisional. Not sure exactly where we're going to be yet, but 7 Eastern. We'll come on an hour before kick, most likely. So join us.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.